Hello and welcome to the Time to Shine talk show. This is your host Ruqaiya Sayed, and today I'm in conversation with Ruqaiya Khan. She is a dedicated parenting coach and a child development trainer. She has helped numerous families and has positively impacted numerous families through her expertise. Welcome, Ruqaiya, on my show, and it is a proud moment for me to have you on my show today.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here, and I'm absolutely delighted to be part of your show.
Yes, thank you so much. So, Ruqaiya, my very first question to you is what, motivated you to become a parent educator?
That's a tricky question. So, being in a profession of childcare from a very early age, I had seen children grow, develop, and succeed in life. And through that whole process, there was many fascinating moments in life that came forward. And as you've seen children growing, all the different experiences that they were taking forward in life, and just seeing that development taking progress from them. And I've worked right across from early years to school-age children, teenagers, youth, and then into further adult education as well. So there's been a very wide scope that's been there. And through that whole process, the most fascinating part was that no day was the same. Okay, as we know with children, you can go in with one plan, one movement, and then it just takes a slight second and everything's turned over all the way around. So there was never a same day. I could plan things with my work, with my profession, walking in and have everything laid out, and it doesn't work according. So these were moments that actually motivated me to actually stay ahead of children and learn more about what was happening, and just looking at them until I became a mother myself, a parent, three wonderful children. And that's when the thing changed. And I realized that there's a big difference between a profession, working with children, being with children, and being a role as a parent with your own
Exactly.
children.
Altogether, it is a different, experience, real life experience when we are in a profession and then,
Yeah,
yes, that's true.
and my own children, they gave me those moments of learning experiences, as a parent, of comparing what a professional role was like and as a role of a parent. And the journey with my children, I mean, they're young adults now, however, they've taught me so much, that whole journey. And that is where sort of inspired me to be the help and support of a lot, the new moms that are coming, the parents that are coming now, to be able to support them, because we are up against challenges. There's so many different challenges.
Yes.
We're in a very, very fast moving era just now as well, where things are changing so fast and moving. And we're constantly, trying to chase after things. And, children do get left behind in this.
I want to add you one thing, being into any profession, any trainer, any coach, we are. But in a real life, if we take that real life experience of being a parent, we also realize that it is the most rewarding job. It is the most rewarding experience which we can have, which one can have, Yes.
Absolutely. The small, it's just those small things that we see, as our child's developing, growing, talking, learning, and, just being there for your child. It's just so important,
And we, feel that we are the, creator of that child. Like we are including that positive, positive teachings if we are, spreading. And we are seeing them growing in front of us, taking that values and moving ahead with that. It is such a rewarding feeling that we have, created that human being.
Absolutely. So that was most of my sort of, way of looking at it. But as obviously I'm based up in the UK as well, and that's where I was born and raised, we have a lot of families that migrate over, and, the cultural differences, the barriers that children were facing, the families were facing, as well. So, being blessed and having that opportunity of the knowledge and skills there. I was becoming a support network for these new parents that were moving forward, coming up and migrating as well. So these were the opportunities that were given to me where, I turned that in a very positive way and took on the role of becoming a parenting coach as well. So trying my best to share my knowledge and, not keep it within myself.
That's a great thing, Ruqaiya. Yeah, so moving forward, Ruqaiya, what is, according to you, the most important aspects of parenting?
Aspects of parenting, actually, for myself, when I look at that, or when I talk about that, for me, the most important thing is love and emotional support that you give your child.
Yes.
That's just right above it, and than anything else. Every child's different.
Exactly.
Every child is different
and unique in their own way.
And understanding your child as an individual, that is key. Because if you recognize your child as an individual, a child who carries his own pathways, carries his own interests, carries his own ways of moving forward, and you're there to support that, that makes a big, positive way for your child as they're growing and developing. The other, thing I'd add on to that is about spending time with your child. It's crucial to spend time. And we, like I said, before, we're in a very, very fast moving era where things are going so fast, we're so engaged and involved with so many different things.
Exactly. Yes.
We're losing that sort of touch of being a parent. It's like passing that on to somebody else to deal with. It's okay, I've got my other things happening.
I just want to add one more thing here. In today's world where most of the women are working moms, as we can say, they just depend totally on, it is a good thing that we have the ability to multitask. We can work and we can look at home as well. But the initial years of a child, when a child develops, like from age 1 to age 5, we have to focus more on, that area more, like to develop, to nurture our child, which is the most important thing. So, what, according to you, how a woman can deal with these two aspects, like, focusing on work and juggling between these two, and what is important, according to me, both things are not equally important, but work is also important. So how do women can deal with this issue? Because most of the women end up in stress and they end up in taking, wrong decisions, ending up their career, or not, focusing well at homes also.
I think the most important thing is having a good support network.
Yeah.
If you've got a good support network, you'll be successful. But that's just the key part of it. Having that support network, being able to bounce back off someone or some people, to say, how do I this? What do I do? How do I do things? It's key. I think that's the way for us, for anybody actually, to move forward, is having that support network, being there, having somebody to, just offload to. I think that's the most important thing. We struggle to do that nowadays.
Yes, exactly.
To share your emotions, your expressions, or how you've been through, because you might be looked at or judged by various
Yes, mothers, mostly women are judged by, like, even if they sit at home and be a full-time mom, people will say that, why are you not focusing on your career now? And if they are focusing in their career, why are you not looking at your home? So it is a two-way, thing, like,
Yeah,
so,
it's difficult to please everybody.
So, Ruqaiya, what do you think is the most important? Sorry?
No, that's fine. Sorry, Niva.
No, you can continue.
No, just one other, point I was wanted to share over here about the aspects of parenting is, is very strongly about comparing your child to other children. That's something we all do, and that is
and this thing has existed before. It is coming from generations and generations.
But it's becoming, as we look at the generations before, it's been there, it's been happening, but the society and the surroundings and the environments were so different.
Yes.
to where we are today. You know, we've got so many other things that are surrounding our environments, which also add to that
Yes,
and can have
yes, yes.
a ripple effect on the children. So yeah, thinking about those as well as positive aspects of parenting.
Yes.
Mm.
So coming next, what important, the most important thing that parents can do to encourage their children's positive self-esteem?
Self-esteem, positive self-esteem. The very
Because,
first thing is
we just now spoke about comparisons, comparing children. So, yeah, but continuing that topic only, how we can develop the self-esteem
the
positive.
most important thing is to listen to your child, hear your child. Okay,
Yes,
give them the time to be heard. Okay, and that can be
exactly.
done in many ways, you know, through their day-to-day life, their engagement in play, their learning time. You know, it's about you showing them that you are there for them at that moment. Okay, believing in them is another thing. Do you know, I think it's very important. Praising them, even if it's for the smallest things. Okay, because you just don't know how hard they
Exactly.
try to achieve that small thing that they have done. Okay, because
Yes,
we need to remember every child is different. Every child's got a different learning way.
yes,
Every child has got a
true.
different understanding, a different skill in them. Do you know? And it's that comparison that we do, and we put everybody into the one basket, you know, and say, right, okay, do you know, this is what we're looking at. So it's looking at those things and saying, you know, praise them for whatever they do and appreciate their efforts. Um, and just again, you know, don't compare your child, because when you start comparing your child to other children in their class, in their environment, and they can't achieve that, they're going to start building a resentment against that child, or you know,
Yes.
that be their best friend, or could be somebody very very close to them, and you know, then other things start to sort of flow from that.
Yes, and indirectly, we are also, if we are comparing, we're also building a dominating kind of image to, they can see as in a negative way that we are, dominating them, or we are pressurizing them to achieve something. And in that way, the results will be very, very, low and poor because of that.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
Mm.
moving forward, what do you think, Ruqaiya, is the most important thing parents can do to support their children's mental health, which is a main issue, the most important topic?
Children's mental health and well-being, the very first and foremost thing is we need to understand that everyone experiences mental health and well-being. Okay, no matter how old we are, what age we are, that is something that we all experience. And the biggest thing is that, you know, people from in a lot of cultures think of this as a stigma when we talk about mental health, you know, or
Yes.
mental health is understood as being a mental, you know, incapability of different things, you know, and you look at them and you say to yourself, you know, that's not what it is. So it's understanding what actually mental health means, and that's the most important thing around that. And how to overcome that is listening to your child again. That's the key.
Listening,
It's
understanding, and guiding, which, three pillars which we need to focus on.
listening to your child, you know, just listen to what the child is saying. If your child has an issue or your child is struggling with something, hear them out, because that for them could be the biggest hurdle. For us, it might not be anything, you know, it's just thinking, oh,
Yes.
it's only a child, you know, when we just sort of laugh it over, or we start talking about it to other people, or, you know, this is what's happening, or this is what's happening. But how that child is feeling is what we need to think of
Even
as
a
well.
simplest thing, like, for example, when a child comes back from school, so they want to share what happened in school the entire day, and that one single sentence, if a parent, a mom, or a dad, if they ask, like, how was your day at school and what did you do, what that, that single thing that made you happy today, if we ask from a positive question, it will impact positively on that child's mind.
Yes. Usually you come across parents asking, or I mean, or I've witnessed a lot as well. So how was school today? Fine,
Yes.
and that's it, the topic. I
Yes,
think,
yes.
okay, well, the child answered it, but no, actually, we should delve deep into it, by creating conversations with them, asking the child maybe, the night before or the day before, what's your plans for tomorrow? Do you know what's happening in school tomorrow? Start showing
Exactly.
interest in what's happening.
The
And
way we
these are all,
speak, the way we frame our sentences impact.
yeah,
Yes.
it impacts them because the words we choose to speak, the
Yes.
tone we use to speak with a
The
child,
tone.
the
Yes. Very important.
level that we're talking to them, it's, are we coming to their level of understanding, or what we're saying just going over their head? Is it making any sense to them? Thinking
Yes.
about those, um, you know, nowadays I see that, children's childhood is being taken away from them because we want children to grow up so fast. That we just want them to
Yes.
grow up and become a young adult at such an early age.
Yes.
But because we're missing out on those valuable key stages of growing in that in a systematic way, there's a lot of differences that come into them. And that is another thing where mental health comes and impacts the children as well. It's about, like, we brush a lot. A child says something to us and we just sort of say, oh, it's fine, that's okay, don't worry about it. And then when that actual situation, it goes further and it just rises. And then we say, well,
Yes.
why didn't you tell me before? Well, the child did try to tell you before, but you weren't there. You weren't in
Yeah.
that present
Lack of
moment.
understanding because of that.
Absolutely. So these things all do, and there's a lot more to it. I mean, it's a very, very broad topic,
Yes.
mental health and well-being. And what we need to remember is these children are just a smaller version of us adults. They have emotions, they have, they've got everything that we do as well. You know, they carry stress, they carry pressure, but in very different ways. And that's what we should not forget. They're just a very small version of us growing up with a lot of understanding. Every
Yeah.
day is a learning, you know.
Adding here, okay, if we see, the research also shows that, previously in decade ago, if you can compare the cases of, adults or children ending up in stress and depression is very low. The level is low. And if we compare today, there are more, students, children, school going students, even in grade 6 and grade 7, getting into depression, getting into anxiety. A normal exam anxiety also impacts them negatively at a higher rate, at a higher level.
Yeah.
So this is because there is a lack of understanding from the parent side. And yes, and even your teachers play a major role. So my next question to you is how a parent can build positive attitude towards school, for their child. So what can they do?
So the most, again, from my side and my understanding to this, is the best way that they can do is by being engaged in their day-to-day understanding, being engaged with their child on a daily basis, being involved and engaged in their learning that's taking place. And more than that is actually understanding your child. When you look at your child and your child is struggling with something, it's actually stripping it right back to the root cause to say, actually, where are we going wrong with this?
Yes,
Building that interest, you know, praise goes a long way. Praise your child, don't put pressure on them. Okay. We
exactly.
we we lack, we lack in praising our children because it's not satisfactory for us, you know. But what we
Our
forget is how,
expectations are totally different on a different, like most of the parents' expectations are. That's the reason why they feel.
and I think having expectations, yes, it's important to have expectations, but the expectations should fit with your
Yes,
child. And the only way they fit with your child is if you start identifying and recognizing your child as an individual. And
yes,
we look at children nowadays, and we'll say to the child, you could be standing with their mom or their parents, and they'll say, "How are you?" And before you know it, the child won't answer. It'll be the parent that will, "Oh, they're fine." We don't
yes,
let the children give the children the opportunity to actually speak, to actually understand themselves. Or, when you
exactly.
do, it comes back to comparing or talking about others, giving examples to children. Look at this, but this. Yes, we all need inspiration, okay, and people do inspire you.
Yes.
But again, it's like it's choosing the right person once you've identified to say, well, look, this person achieved this, and this is how they did it. They did have struggles. We all have
Yes.
struggles. But we don't expect our children to have struggles. That's what we look at, and we say to ourselves. But having that positive, making sure that we're involved in their learning, being there for them, praising them, okay,
Yes.
and just engaging yourself with school and the teachers and believing in your child. If a child comes home from school and said, I was in trouble today, the very first thing we would say is, so what did you do?
Yes.
So the child could not even be at fault. But how is he now going to go forward and say something to you because you've already given him that feeling that he was at fault? So it's
Exactly.
giving them that moment again, like you're saying about choosing the right words. What happened? Do you want to tell
Yes.
me what happened? And listening to your child, giving them that opportunity to express themselves or share, which they might not have had.
Exactly.
So those are the things, that you would make sure that you're there for your child. Believing in your children is very important. You believe in them, they'll come home, they'll share everything with you, they'll express everything. And then from there, you guide them and support them. If they're able to come and talk to you, that's all it is, building those relationships with them.
And
And that's what we're
building a safe
slightly
environment. Yeah, building a safe
absolutely,
environment at home is very important for a child.
very important. Yeah. It's very important because they need that safe space. They need that safe space to come home and
Yes.
know that this is, if things didn't work well at school or outside or wherever they were, things didn't go well, at least they can come home and talk about it because they might not be able to talk about it anywhere else. Just like us adults, we always go back to somebody to talk to. We need that
Yes.
person to talk
Yes.
to
Exactly.
share. And if you don't have that person, you start to bottle it inside you.
Bottling up
Turns
the
into stress, from
emotions.
stress,
Exactly.
and that's exactly what children do as well. It's like not
Yes.
being able to understand them and take it forward from there. So yeah, I think that's the most important. Being involved and engaged with your child is absolutely important.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Um,
thank you, Ruqaiya, for this was a very fruitful session for me as well. Being a parent, I have also learned a lot from today's session, and it has benefited me in many ways. And like me, there are millions of parents watching this show. I hope this will reach out to them and help them in many ways, and your words will inspire. So I wish you all the very best for all your future projects and endeavors. And thank you once again for joining my show today.
Thank you so much for having me. And just want to sort of add to it, it's not about making big changes, but it's those small changes that make the big differences in the lives of the
Yes.
children. That's what we should look at. So yeah, thank you so much, Ruqaiya, for having me. And I look forward to seeing you soon as well.
Yeah, so this part one session was a great one. I hope we will do more sessions together to impact millions of lives. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, take care.